The fun fact is we've been to France like 10 years ago this week, apparently.
Oh my God. My soul.
Ridiculous. How are you though?
I'm all right. I'm good. I'm trying to, do this YouTube stuff.
Yeah, you've been killing it though. When I first seen your first video, I was like, I'm here for it. I'm totally here for it. I'm here for it.
It's
like
terrible.
you're like one of the first people to shift into it, like especially after the pandemic hit. Like it was great.
I just think it's gonna be the new way to go. Because I mean, with the pandemic, like they're already talking about new strains and stuff like that. Like, seems like shutdowns are just gonna come in waves, pretty much. And
which makes sense, honestly. It does.
Yeah.
But I feel like the main thing that's kind of helpful for people like us, the big names are coming down, which is like, yeah, sad face, big names coming down, but that means more people are going to look for smaller people.
Yeah, well, with the internet stuff, like I just launched my own website because I can't wait to get 1,000 subscribers to like make some money. Like I can't do it, So I'm gonna start teaching virtual lessons online.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then there is like a farmer's market type thing on like around here, because I'm in Florida now and they don't
so you're completely missed all of this ridiculous snow then.
Yeah. I kind of miss it though. Remember when we went sledding with the trash bags and the
Yeah, I just brought that up. I was like, all you need is a trash bag and some oil sheet and a trash bag. That's all you need.
Oh my God, that was so fun. Yeah, those little kids were like, how are they going so fast?
Listen, oil, okay?
Oil. The streak of oil down the lane.
Those were definitely some fun times. Random college chronicles.
Yeah. Some people have keggers. We went sledding.
Sledding with trash bags, yes.
Anyway, so hey guys, welcome to Chef Grace's Place. Today I'm interviewing my friend Nesha. She is a pastry chef, but her specialty is cake decorating. And she's always been phenomenal at it. I remember in decorating class being like, how'd you do that? She's
say it just like that too.
Yeah. So how'd you do that? And then like she's the person that you taught me how to make a parchment paper bag because I couldn't understand the way they were teaching it. And then you just did it with folding it and like shifting it around. And I was like, oh.
The simple things.
But it's such an important technique.
Oh, it's a handy little thing to do. And then from the years, I learned how to do it with just a strip. Like I remember teaching you with just like a triangle. Now I can do it in just a strip of paper.
Like a rectangle?
No, like like a rectangle. Yep. It's crazy.
So how do you do that?
I could totally get a piece of parchment paper and show you right now. It's great.
I kind of want you to do that.
I'll make a little smaller one. Got these half parchment papers that I use often. Because typically you would just, do a triangle.
Yeah, you get your right triangle.
This time we're going to go this way.
I can't see.
Just cutting it in half. Nice little crease. And here's the great thing about baking. A lot of the techniques are still the same. Like the go-to things are definitely still the same. So got a strip here, right? Pretty much the same technique though. Grab it in the center, make a cone. I still have it held in the center. I'm gonna pinch it and grab this back piece in the back. So at this point, there's a cone. You see the
Yeah.
cone, right? And there's like a little extra piece right here, but this is the rest of this loose paper. And I'm just gonna wrap it around. And then the adjustment, like with the triangle, and that's it.
How do you make it stay though? Same
Typically when I'm doing it, I usually have a piping bag like right there filled with something to go into it. So typically I just go like this. But if I'm not using it, I just... So when I go to fill it, like this extra tab, this is like the tab to tuck in first.
So do you find yourself doing it that way now, or just doing it?
Yeah. Just because certain things like when I'm at the bakery, we have like a big roll of parchment paper just to rip off pieces.
Yo, I hate those.
Yeah, they're real.
I hate those. Oh my god. Because it rip like when you rip it off, it never rips clean. Like
never. Even when I just did it, a little piece. But yep, rectangle, same thing. And it's like, yeah, you got a little extra flap at the end of the day, like that you're holding it. By the time you're actually piping what you're doing, you're holding it. So.
And you're using that for like chocolate or something to write something.
Chocolate, writing a name on a cake, royal icing cookies, whatever I need a cone for, and I don't want to waste a bag. I don't want to waste a pastry bag.
Yeah.
I'll grab a paper.
Have you been using? I've kind of mostly transitioned over to the reusable featherweight ones instead of the plastic ones.
Yeah, I do. I use the featherweight one for my main white bag.
Yeah.
But for all the colors, it's all plastic. And then if I'm doing like smaller details, like I can't find like a #1 piping tip, I grab a bag, a little paper bag.
Yeah, I mean the #1 tip is just a pain in the ass to clean anyway.
It helps with royal icing with certain things, but not with all things.
Yeah.
But even when I got like a whole ridiculous container of tips. It was like I tried my best to keep them organized. They never stay organized. They never stay organized in school. Like, and when I need to write on something, I just need to write on it real quick. So the bags come in handy.
So you're still in Philadelphia?
I am. I'm actually, the restaurant school is on 42nd. I'm on 48th Street. So I'm less than 10 blocks from them.
48th and what?
40th and Brown.
Okay.
So this is like an area that I'm maybe 4 blocks over, 4 like city blocks over from Market Street.
Is Brown on the right or left?
Brown is, what is that? If we're going towards Fresh Grocer, it's to the left.
Okay.
If we're facing the city, it's to the left. I'm not far there.
I was on Clark Park for a while. That was fun.
Oh yeah. I'm not that far from Clark Park.
Yeah.
That's a solid, like less than 10 minutes.
Yeah. John used to live on 48th and Chester, I think.
Yes, that whole little area. I feel like all the restaurants will migrated to the right side of Walnut. That whole suburban. I'm on the left side. But I like it here. I have an amazing view of the city. I have a rooftop. I'm in a pretty nice size townhouse.
Oh, so, nice.
Yeah. Got a lot of steps, but it is what it is.
So tell me what happened after college and Sweets by Nesha and all that.
All that after college. What happened after college? I was still at Philly Cupcake after college, actually. I was at Philly Cupcake probably for like another 1.5 years or so. I was trying to transition a little bit better within Philly Cupcake because they were trying to expand, but how most bakeries do when, you know, their core values aren't, you know, set in baking. They expand and they forget that, you know, all this work that they're doing is, it's not going to work. So they actually end up expanding and then downsizing very quickly. But in the midst of that downsize, I left. I went to Charlotte for a little bit. I was a pastry chef down there. Then came back here. Yeah, I bounced around a little bit. Came back to Philly and I found O'Teary's Bakery. And I've pretty much been at O'Teary's ever since. I did do other jobs. Maybe about, at this point, 3 years ago, I did leave O'Teary's to go, actually, no, I'm sorry. I went to 2 other bakeries in Philly. I went to Frosted Fox, which at this point is an amazing bakery. If I ever can't do a cake, and I'm overbooked and all my other cake people are overbooked, I will send them to Frosted Fox. Frosted Fox is in Mount Airy. Jenny, the owner, her and her husband owns it. They have 2 awesome kids. She was on Sugar Rush. She was on season 1 of Sugar Rush.
Oh,
I forget what her episode was, but she won her episode for sure. But Jenny, she's great. Then I worked at a smaller bakery, which also shut down not too long after opening, unfortunately. And then I went to Kempton. I went to Kempton Hotel. I was their pastry 1 for a while, for at least a year and a half. And then when the pandemic hit, everything got shut down. It was insane. Just seeing the digression of it so quickly within like 2 weeks of just like, when the pandemic hit, it was right at a time where our head pastry chef just left. So I was next in line for that position. I was picking up more shifts, kind of just learning, you know, more intentional roles of, you know, being the pastry chef in the establishment, picking up extra shifts. And then it went from, oh, there's a crisis happening. We don't know what's happening. Corporate wants us to cut down on this. Next day, oh, all the banquets are canceled until further notice. Like we had to be like a banquet meeting and it was literally, well, this banquet's canceled and this one and this one. We just got a call about this one, like canceled. And then 2 days later, it was like, we're shutting down the restaurant. It's just like, okay. All right.
my God. And that's like, for people who don't work in the restaurant industry, you know, I say this a lot. Every restaurant needs a chef, but not every restaurant needs a pastry chef. And you have to basically like wait your turn. Doesn't matter if you're more talented than the person in the other position or whatever. You have to like wait your turn and pray that this person leaves so you can take the position. It's definitely like almost like a military hierarchy where like you're second in command until the other person, you know, leaves or dies. So
pretty much.
And there's very like the pay scale is, you know, that's the only not even like big wage, but livable wage in the whole like department. So you either got to wait it out or you got to start your own business. And, you know, I don't know many people that, especially pastry chefs, who've had an angel investor come up to them, you know? So whereas like on the other side, like, you know, like Steven Starr and stuff has invested in, or, you know, Danny Meyer, like if they have a chef they really like, they partner in business with them, but that rarely happens for pastry chefs.
It does. Unfortunately, we are actually, you know, we know someone that Steven Starr has actually did invest in. But even then, like her, like just being a woman in pastry is a lot because, you know, there's multiple women, but there's also multiple skill sets. But at the same time, if someone's already in that role and they leave, there's still a battle. There's seniority to worry about. There's just, you know, overall just skills and talents to worry about. And at the same time, you know, you got upper house that's sitting there worrying about, well, if the sous chef could just make cookies and this, that, and the third, then, you know, why do we need to fill the role right now? You know, like if it's not busy, we got a sous chef, you know, they can just oversee what they do. And that's that. And it's just like,
And you're always treated as if you're like not your own thing, like you're underneath the chef still, even though a lot of times, like you're like, well, I need this, this, and this because that's how pastry works. And they're like, oh, well, you can make it work without that. And you're like,
exactly. Just like,
no.
oh, there's like 10 pounds of chocolate back there. Just use that. I'm just like, it's sitting back there because someone did a misorder and they didn't want to take it back when it was supposed to. That chocolate doesn't work for what I needed to do.
Yeah.
Like mercury is horrible. Like, it doesn't matter how much oil you add to it. I can't coat anything smoothly with it. And you want me to make it nice. I'm trying to tell you, I can't make it nice with it. Sorry, not sorry. Like, I'm trying to tell you, like, I'm not sitting here like trying to tell you what I need just because, I want something nicer. I don't have a bachelor's degree in pastry arts just because, like, I'm trying to let you know.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. But definitely after the pandemic hit, even before that point, I actually ended up shutting down Sweets by Nesha. I got overwhelmed just because I was doing cakes at work. I was doing cakes at home, and it was a lot. So I shut it down for a little bit. But when the pandemic hit, I took like 2 months and I did absolutely nothing. I did nothing. And it was wonderful. But I got to a place where I was able to center myself again. And I got to reflect a lot. Like, I was on Food Network and I had that momentum for a little bit, and then it died down because I was trying to, put so much into, getting into that position at the pastry chef.
What'd you do on Food Network? Let's talk about that a little bit.
Right?
You got a famous person over here.
Only second place. It's okay though.
You were on TV, so that's first place in me.
That part. It was a journey. It definitely was. I was on the Holiday Baking Championship Christmas in July special back in 2018. It aired July 2018, and it was fun. They flew me out. I can't really talk too much about it, but they flew me out. It was like I was out there for like 4 days. I was able to go to the Grove. I went to a church service out there. I did not get to go to Duff's Bakery, even though it was in the area that I was in. But the overall experience of it was awesome. I won the Quick Heat Challenge and here's the thing, I won by chance that I made Duff's favorite cookie. And I didn't know it at the time.
What was his favorite cookie?
A white chocolate macadamia nut cookie.
All right.
Exactly. I ended up making an orange white chocolate macadamia nut cookie. And then I won Nancy over because I use an orange liqueur for the royal icing. So it was like, boom, boom, greatness. But then I felt like I lost by like 5 points, if that. Like the challenge initially, because it was Christmas in July kind of thing. So the main heat challenge was an ice cream cake. And I used too light of a cake. I should have made a pound cake. But I made a caramel cake with a peach cobbler ice cream. And of course they had like their add-ins like halfway through the challenge. And I picked pistachios. So I did like a caramel streusel pistachio crunch layer, which was great because I was going to add a crunch layer regardless. But I didn't go vibrant enough for the summer side of the challenge. So I feel like I really lost just by like technicalities of like a smidgen of some points.
I don't know about that. I'm gonna have to go watch this episode.
And everyone says that too. They're like, yo, they cheated you. Yeah. And that's why I'm like, I lost by like 5 points. I know I did. The cake that won, he won because he had more Christmassy in summer. Like he had palm trees and a base, like a beach ball thing and this, that, and the third. And I knew that I was going to do it in this sense, like kind of ahead of time. Like I did a square cake out of buttercream. people are terrified of square buttercream cakes just to not get the crisp corners, you know? They're
Oh yeah, you
terrified
told
of
me
those
how to
things.
do that too.
Like, and it's a hard thing to do. And I was like, nope, I'm doing these edges. And
Yeah.
Duff recognized it. And oh, here's like a little, like, I can talk about this because it wasn't directly anything dealing with Food Network. Duff actually offered me a job. He like called, like after everything was said and done, he was like, Nesha, no, like come here, like you're in Philly, right? Like I'm serious, like I need a decorator. And I applied, but nothing ever really came from it, you know?
What the fuck, Duff? You can't offer a job and then be like, nah. Like
I think it was just because his team, like he was in LA at the time, so his team in Baltimore like didn't get that full like connection there, but like
well,
exactly.
Duff, if you're listening,
I'm still Team Duff regardless.
nah, he's a cool guy. He seems super relaxed and chill. You know?
Yeah, he was pretty awesome. But like the whole experience of just going there, it definitely pumped me up for, you know, what I wanted to do next. And it was an awesome experience, and I'm very excited for the next one. So
is there a next one? It works.
Me not being able to say yes or no to that answer is a very good sign. So I'm gonna say
good.
that. Yes.
Gotta love it. So when do you see, like, what's the future of Sweets by Niche then? Like, when is the transition from working for other people to working for yourself?
Well, that's a very good question. So after the pandemic hit, I had some time to just kind of work on Sweets by Nisha in general. I got a local artist to do my logos. Like I kind of did the whole revamping. I got merch together. Like I'm getting all like the back side of things together. Like I still have a website to get together. The YouTube page is slowly but surely coming along. But in the midst of life, pandemic, and then still trying to make Sweets by Nisha happen, I actually went back to O'Teary's, where I'm a fondant cake decorator there. And I've learned that I have to be different. People always say, you know, especially with, you know, developing a new YouTube page, you know, you have to find your niche. And it's like mentally, you know, I'm like, I'm a cake decorator. Like that is my niche, but there has to be another level to that. So for now, I'm working on YouTube. I am working to get into some wholesales. I need to get out of my kitchen. I am so tired of cottage law. It's like one of those things of like after working and people don't understand this. Grace, I know you're going to understand my pain. Home baking and restaurant baking are two different things.
Oh my God. Especially like, how bad do you want like a 30-quart mixer in your townhouse? At least a 30-quart, you know?
I can only bake 1 dozen cookies at one time.
Oh my God. I'm thinking about getting like a stovetop oven to have extra space. And I saw one on K-Tom or something that actually had a steam injector with it for bread.
Ooh. And you love doing bread.
I know, but that was like $600.
You know, but the investment is real though. Like,
yeah, but the cash flow isn't real.
This is true. This is true. You know, my optimistic level is like all the way up here. You got to keep the optimisticness like the sky high.
Maybe down the line. Because, you know, the crust would be so much better. And it's so hard to get a good crust in Florida without the right water.
Okay, so my question for you is how does the humidity affect your cooking and baking?
Not as much as the electric stove does. But it depends on where I'm cooking. But like my apartment is actually like really dry. I don't know. I think it's just like up north we don't have like central air, you know? And it really like I wake up I wake up not because I'm done sleeping, but because I need water. It's so It's
Just dry.
bad. Like sometimes you
Yeah.
have to like snort it up your nose so your nose doesn't bleed. Like
Oh wow.
really dry in here. But I think I'll make excellent macaroons in here.
That part.
So
That part. The
you
things
know.
that actually come in handy with.
Yeah. So it's got its ups and downs. But like outside, like in the summer, super humid. Like my mom's house is like very humid, but here is fine. I don't know. We'll find out.
That part.
But the oven's
um,
it's all electric here, so like the oven is electric. Like macaroons in an electric oven without a fan, that's gonna suck.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, at least the back ones would be done. But you can't keep opening up the oven, so it's like it just yeah.
Well, thank God it has a window. I've been trying to do macaroons in an oven without a window, and
Yeah, that doesn't work either.
doesn't work.
But it's like it's such a struggle when it's like we know that we can bang out like 5 dozen at once. like not having be restricted to just one. Or like I can only bake 2 cakes at once, and I know that I can do like 8 at once. Like it's a struggle. It's a real struggle. So I've been working on getting a commercial kitchen. It's kind of hard nowadays simply because a lot of kitchens are open, but their prices are ridiculous.
Yeah.
And they're not trying to be helpful. And it's like, understand, like, I understand your struggle. Like you lost like way more than I did, but like I'm smaller. I'm just trying to get a day or two, and you still want to charge me $1,000 for the week. And it's just like, how about $1,000 for like 2 months, please? like 2 days a week, like please. like, and then even when the nice opportunities do come along, like there's this new thing here called the cloud kitchen, which is an awesome opportunity. But the price tag plus the add-ons that you personally have to put on is very pricey. But like the opportunity and like the layout of it is like, I want it. But like the price tag is like, I need to go over here first so I can, get an angel investor or something so I can do it.
The cloud kitchen?
So the cloud kitchen initially, it takes all of the online delivery services and put it on one platform, right? So that's Grubhub, DoorDash, Uber Eats. Typically, we have like places have all those services.
Okay.
They're all in different tablets. Like
they're all in different apps.
Yeah. So with this cloud kitchen, their main thing is they put it all on one tablet for you. They handle all the front of the house situations. So typically you're in this kitchen space, you get an order, you put your order literally on a rack right outside your door, and someone from the front is going to make sure it gets to the right delivery driver. The front of the house system of it is great. Here's the catch though. The kitchen spaces vary in sizes, but the only thing that they provide in each kitchen space is the hubs and a 3 sink, a 3 dish sink. And that's it. You have to bring in all your own equipment. That's the plus thing though. It's the plus.
It's a plus and a minus.
Customize it. Exactly. Yeah. You have to bring in all your own equipment and then obviously all your own foods and labeling and this, that, and the third to execute what you're doing. Here's why that is a minus, mainly because the rent for that kitchen space a month starts at $3,000 a month.
What?
And that's for a smaller kitchen. But at the same time, like what's $3,000 a month in rent where you can bring in a revenue of almost $10,000 to $15,000 a month by, hitting really hard with all these online delivery services.
Yeah, but 10,000, if the rent is 3,000, right? And then, all your equipment.
Everything else is like another 2,000.
You're at 50%. You need to be at 28% cost. It's not profitable.
It's like one of those like, because a lot of the people that I know that's in there, it's more than one person, like more than one company sharing a kitchen. Like for instance, Burger King is in there. If you come to Philly right now and you order Burger King through Grubhub, you're not getting it from a restaurant. You're getting it from that cloud kitchen.
That's crazy.
Exactly. So it's like one of those things of like, if you can work it enough and work it properly, it can be profitable, but like it's a big risk. But
I mean, you're gonna need like 6 people in your kitchen.
exactly.
Just so
And the kitchen's not that big to begin with, you
Yeah.
know? So one of the executive chef at my last hotel, he's actually in there. He has 4 companies, 3 of his, and then one, actually, no, they're all his, actually. He does breakfast, lunch, and dinner, all out of a different name, and then he does meal prep. He literally took all the guys that didn't go back to the hotel. He got maybe like 5 or 6 guys working from the hotel with him. And, you know, I don't know how well he's doing, but I see him cranking, you know, like he's pushing for sure, but I know he's in the hole a bit.
Yeah.
but you know, it's now at this point, I'm really trying to just find a commercial kitchen that makes sense. I have goals of being a mobile cake studio. I never wanted a brick and mortar. I remember in college saying to you, like, I never wanted a brick and mortar, being in a store. Like, you know, I always want to go to the party. I still travel a lot with cake. There was a time that I traveled Greyhound with a full sheet cake and finished decorating cake in a hotel room in Indiana. And then had to struggle to get certain things that I forgot. It was like little things, but little things that I needed that I forgot. I'm just like, I just need like a truck or something so I can have all the things and travel with all my stuff at once. So I want to get to that point initially, but in Philly, you still need a commercial kitchen to work out of a trailer with. So I'm trying to get that situated. But one of the biggest things that's like the different niche thing that I'm working on is a vending machine. So exactly.
A cake vending machine.
Yes.
How does that work?
Serves like milk and cookies and cake and cobblers.
Kind of like what were those things called? It was like maybe the 40s or the 50s when they had what were they called? I'm gonna Google it. 1 second. I want to say auto something. Food.
Like one of those instant things. I would say like instant things.
1950s?
Into the 50s. Oh.
Auto something?
Yeah.
It was like it was like a wall of windows with like stuff in it. And it could be anything.
I know what you're talking about. It was kind of like I mean, that's how the hotel, not the hotels, how the hospitals, there's some of those things in the hospitals still. Of like, it was pretty much like a vending machine, but like it was like wall stationary, and someone was in the back refilling it as someone was getting it.
Exactly.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's initially what I'm trying to get to. I want to get in some malls. I want to get into some colleges. There is some that already exist. There's one in Pittsburgh. Cake Boss has a few in Canada and Mall of America. But, you know, I'm trying to get one in Philly. I'm trying to get a few in Philly, actually. So I'm trying to line all the things up. And I'm in the very heavy research part of it phase right now of like, can I get away with just purchasing a vending machine, making sure that it has, you know, the refrigeration that I need, or do I need to get one custom made? Even then, just getting all those logistical things together is honestly the phase that I'm in for Sweets by Nesha. I take on the orders as I can. I do have a Valentine's Day menu out of a lot of anti-Valentine's Day stuff, which is greatness, I believe. But I also have like a cookie box, a something sweet box. I have a lot of local people that get for me pretty often for the most part. My main thing is not really taking on too much than I can handle, and really just get my logisticals together. So when I come out, like I can be like K-Bow O'Teary's, don't need a hotel. Like y'all, I would love for y'all to come to me for wholesale, but for the most part, like I'm ready for full entrepreneur push at this point. So it's
even
been
like Shopify. I mean,
yeah, and here's the thing with Shopify. Even I'm currently still on Square doing like all my invoices and everything. I'm working on getting actually have a business meeting coming up with that genre of platforms. But my main concern is putting myself out on those platforms, but then I'm still in a home kitchen, like cottage law. Like I don't have that much space to function the way I know I can push out stuff,
Yeah.
So it's like kind of been like, I need to get this business plan together so I can get into the commercial kitchen and get in front of some investors so I can comfortably be like, and not even comfortably, it's still going to be a stress, but it won't be the stress of I can't handle the orders because I can only bake off 1 dozen cookies at a time. And my mom's not freaking out on me because I got cookies laid out across her beautiful set table, half the time. So, and I'm ready to get out of the house and baking. Like it's such a struggle of, I'm home baking. So it's not like I have a 9 to 5. Like there's many of times I've been up at 3:00 in the morning because I got off at 12 and had to come home and finish an order.
Yeah.
And then, if I'm having like a kind of a casual day where I'm getting prep done, I'm getting calls, this person, oh, that person, like, oh, come help me with this upstairs or come help me move this over here. And then I'm just like, yo, I got batter. Trying to scoop cookie batter.
Sorry, I'm at work. I can't come
exactly
now.
Exactly. And then like on even the opposite side of that of just everyone just kind of here, talking, chit-chatting, and relaxing, and I'm like in the kitchen for another 4 hours while trying to watch a movie with them and not watching the movie because I'm trying to get these cookies done and try to get these cakes done. So it's like, and then, I'm ready to separate
the commercial kitchen. I remember I was running a online cookie and brownie business for a little bit, and we scooped 40,000 cookies by hand for like a Christmas order for a bank. And like towards the end, we finally got this thing. It was like a die cutter. So you would put in cookie dough and then it would like shoot out these like hockey puck things. And it could do, it could do 40,000 in like a day. It took us like 2 weeks.
Exactly. Like, the huskiness of it is real. But it's like at the same time, like even when you took on the order, you did it because you knew that it was possible to do, Yeah. And I feel like even,
Oh no, you froze.
Now a certain order.
You're freezing. Hold on.
Did you froze?
You froze. I can hear you now though.
Did I freeze?
There we go. All right, back to it. Oh, there we go.
Okay, awesome.
So my internet connection apparently is unstable. This happened to me last time, but my internet connection is only unstable when I do one of these. All right. Well, worst comes to worst, I'll switch to my phone. But anyway,
that part.
What were we talking about? Oh, commercial kitchens, die cutting, cookies. Struggle.
And it's like I need one, I want one. Because like even like a whole nother thing of like figuring out another thing for a niche. When was the last time, and I've seen them, yes, I've seen them, but when was the last time you seen like a home, not even a home baker, but you seen something other than Pillsbury or Nabisco cookie dough? in a grocery store, like prepackaged cookie dough. There's a lot of vegan ones. There's a lot of healthier lines, but there's none of just like, I maybe seen it once, maybe twice, of just a regular person, just like a local bakery selling cookie dough in a grocery store. That's another thing I'm trying to get to as well.
I'm surprised I don't see more bakeries selling cookie dough in a bakery.
Exactly.
But
It's hard to be profitable with the bakery though.
Yeah, especially now. I that's why I just think everything's going online. Like if you offer that online, you know, you put in your inventory of whatever you think you can pump out, and then, you know, hopefully get that kitchen, maybe get a countertop oven. I saw the countertop ovens on K-Tom and they were only like, I saw a cheap one for like 150, and then I saw like a better one for like 130, you know? I mean, not 130, 300.
Yeah.
But
that sounds a bit right.
yeah, why would it be cheaper? That doesn't make sense. So like those are, I think I'm gonna do that once if this farmers market thing starts happening. Because I also figure if I'm gonna teach lessons, it'll be easier. Number one, I should have an oven that's actually gonna make this stuff look good. But also like for the camera and stuff, having it on the countertop to like show people and film will be better. But
what you been your process with getting that class together? Because I've been on Clubhouse. I know I sent you the invite for Clubhouse too.
Yeah, I still am overwhelmed with that, and I don't know how to use it.
I literally I have to do Clubhouse like 2 days at a time because I could be on it 24 hours. It is ridiculous.
I had it. I went on the first thing, and then because the first day I deleted it because I was getting so many notifications that my phone was about to die, and I was like, "Fuck it," and I turned it off. I got rid of it, and then I'm part of like this YouTube cooking creators group on Facebook. I'll send you the link because I didn't even know you had a YouTube channel. I just was like, I always see your stuff on Instagram, and I was like,
yeah, I tried.
But I mean, you got to be on every single one of them now. It's like, you know. But what was I to say? Yeah, but so one of the YouTube creator person was like, "You got to get on here." Like, he was like listening to a conversation with like some of the top like YouTube people, like Mr. Beast, and I don't know their names. I just remember Mr. Beast because I'm like, because you hear the name Mr. Beast, and then you see what he looks like, and you're like, that's not a beast.
The greatness. Like, sir, what's wrong with your name? But yeah, honestly, it's a great just like networking. I met a lot of chefs in Philly. I met a lot of chefs in the DMV. My following has jumped up tremendously. And I know it's not about the followers, but honestly, it's just about the connection. So just,
you know, about the followers, because I mean, that's the thing with the attention economy. Like, it's about the followers, but it's also about like people don't realize how much they can change somebody's life by just subscribing to their YouTube channel.
Exactly.
And that's free. And you can
all you gotta do is hit a button. See, it's so funny. You talked about all the notifications. I don't know if you're getting dings, but like for the past 5 minutes, I've been but go ahead.
When I re-downloaded it, I figured out like how to turn it off. It's like,
but yeah, the followers is
because you need, you know, like every that's one of the reasons why I started this podcast, because I want, you know, 90% of it is just getting the word out. I feel like, you know, a lot of times I think of it like musicians, like how many like great musicians do you know that no one's ever heard of because they don't have a record deal?
Yep,
you know?
and they're on Spotify.
Yeah.
Like, and nothing. Like,
yeah, and you'd have to search for them because they're never going to come up in your music, you know? Like they might get lucky, but it's the same thing with YouTube. Like they have to you have to get noticed, and then YouTube will be like, oh, people watch this. You know what I mean? People subscribe to this. Now we'll promote it. But it's not like you go on there and then all of a sudden they promote your stuff.
Yeah.
So, if you're trying to, everyone listening, make sure if you just, not even, if you just feel like lukewarm about a person, hit subscribe. Because it doesn't mean you're not good. Like they've changed it too, where like if you hit subscribe, it doesn't mean you're gonna just see that person over and over again like you used to.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're like, okay, it's just more of a suggestion that like you like this kind of content, and we'll suggest content like that. So, but there's so many people that I'm very excited. I just passed 500 subscribers, but
I just seen that too.
I was like, oh my god.
Congrats.
It feels amazing, but then I think about it and like, does it matter? Because I'm not making any income,
But here's the thing, it does matter. And I had to get checked. I had to check myself after being on the show, because I was the only one that was on my episode that didn't already have an establishment, So everyone else that was on the episode, they pretty much had an establishment already. And they were already or in the midst of building it, full force, like they already had a building kind of thing. And I didn't get the, publicity of Philly support the way that I thought that I should have. But at the same time, I got recognized by the pure fans of it. So I went to this Rec Philly Center, and one of their managers like had a whole conniption when she seen me and was like, oh my gosh, you were on Food Network. I can't remember your name, but like you should have won kind of thing. And it was cool. And it was very cool for me. But as the months start passing by, and I was very, like, I'm gonna get a video, and I got a couple videos up, and the bite of people being excited about me being on the show just died.
Yeah, the moment.
It just died down.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things of like, but y'all were just so hyped. So why aren't y'all watching the videos too? And why aren't half these people also on my YouTube page? And I know I'm putting out pretty, I'm a good follow for the most part. Like, I keep it entertaining. I keep it spicy for the most part. Like I do my best keeping up with the trends. And it's like, why haven't everything shifted? And I even tried to do like a funneling technique with my merch. I'm like, all right, hey, I got merch. The link is in the YouTube bio. So that forces somebody to go to the YouTube bio, give me that view. Hopefully it's too many like hopeful things of drawing people to just get the view or just to get the subscription. That's just like kind of thing, Yeah,
but I also learned like the more they have to click, the less they're not gonna do it. That's the thing. So
yeah.
You want to,
and it's like one of those things too. It's just like everyone should know by now, like a YouTube and even podcasts, like the listening, just like even if you just click on it for a second, not even for a second, a solid minute, like that's helping somebody.
Yeah.
Like subscribing, that helps somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you don't have to go like put a comment all the time, but like it's helping somebody.
But also and liking the video, like you don't even have to. That's the thing, like you don't, like it's free. You know what I mean? Like I'm not asking you to buy anything.
Exactly.
It's free, guys. Subscribe.
Subscribe.
Yeah. And I'm not just saying that for me. I'm saying it like there's so many people I see that are, another thing that really bothers me is that I see people with a lot of subscribers that, now I'm like, they're getting paid, and then especially when it comes to cake decorating, I see them doing stuff that it could be a lot better. Like I see cake decorators like you are miles ahead of like, and I'm like, why? It's just the algorithm and getting the engagement. It has nothing to do with your skill level or how good you are, but whether or not, you just got lucky on that algorithm, or, you had money to put in ads for marketing. So,
and even that's a whole nother entity that schooling can definitely help more with. Like, over it.
over it.
So yeah, it's like a whole other entity that schooling could definitely help more with. Did we even have a business class?
We
I
had
feel
a
like
marketing class with Ms. Rad. That
okay. I remember DeLuca. Yeah, I remember DeLuca more than not right now though.
well, that was accounting. The lemonade and accounting book.
Oh lordy, lordy.
I learned a lot about accounting though with that, but more with the one. I don't know if it was the lemonade stand book the associates or the bachelors.
That was associates.
Okay, so then we had like a managerial marketing or not
Yeah,
managerial accounting or something.
I don't remember opening that book.
I think I learned more after I have the book still and I went back and read it later and I was like, oh, this makes more sense now that I'm reading it by myself.
Exactly. And I had some moments where I did like some of the smaller books that I didn't sell because yes, I sold these books back.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I had to.
I went through them, and even then, I still found myself still learning more from the sous chefs or from the chefs actually, was willing to conversate with me about the questions that I had.
But I think the base knowledge I got, like it shouldn't have been as expensive as it was. Like no education should be that expensive. But especially for like the amount of money you make as a pastry cook or pastry chef out of college, like no way. But
I had to fight to get a raise after graduating with my bachelor's degree from Philly Cupcake. Like legit, like fight. And that was one of the terms when I got hired. It's like, oh, when you graduate, we'll bump you up.
yeah,
No, and it's like one of those things of like, how much does a degree versus? Oh,
where'd you go? There you go.
I got a phone call that time. Hold on, I'm gonna put it on silent real quick. There we go. I had to legit fight, and there was more opportunities than not. Like I don't want to say it in a very boasty kind of way, but I knew that it was something that I wanted to do. I knew that I was highly skilled at it. And at the same time, I had this whole persona that I needed the degree so I can easily get the income that I was fighting for. But once I got it, it was like looked over like it was nothing. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, so how did I get this?
Like, exactly. And that's the whole reason why I went there, because I got into all the other ones. But when we went there, it was one of the only places with a bachelor's in pastry, whereas everything else was a certificate program. So
exactly. Now we got places where a lot of home bakers are owning these massive, bakeries now. Luckily, Frosted Fox, she actually, hold on one second. My dad's coming downstairs. He doesn't know I'm doing this. Hold on. Yep. Okay. He's just like turned around, just exits. So yeah, the owner of Frosted Fox, she went to CIA.
Okay.
And she worked in a chocolate place for a while. And then after that, she opened up her bakery. But at the same time, I still know home bakers that has, a full-fledged, very profitable bakery / like YouTube career, and they're home bakers. Like,
yeah, because all you really need is the money to start the business. It's all about money, you know?
Here's the thing though. Sometimes it's not all about the money. Like you need like to open a bakery though, you need both. Like having both assets of baking and money, like you can't have like
But you need more money than baking skill level. You know what I mean?
yeah, you do. You definitely need more money, but if you have that more money side of it and you don't have any of the baking side of it, you're still gonna come across issues.
Yeah, but I could
But
hire Tanisha for that. You know what I mean? I could hire
this
Nisha.
is true. But it's like the one place I'm thinking of, she retired. She was a retired accountant for a very high mogul person, like
Oh,
very high.
there you
mogul.
go, accountant.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
So like the money, like she was cool with it. Like she was like, she kind of used that high mogul person to like push her business. But at the same time, you bring someone in like me, where, you know, I'm just, you know, I want to make sure that, you know, we can crank out stuff, you know, at the capacity that you're wanting to, because the main person that was doing it, you know, just went across the country, you know, you got to listen to us. I understand this is your establishment. I'm not trying to tell you how to run your business. I'm just trying to, you know, make sure you know how to pipe this border, you know? And if you can't listen to me when I'm trying to tell you how to pipe this border, and you're just like, well, you try to throw money tactics at me, I'm just like, I'm not trying to control your money. I'm trying to make sure you know that this border and this board that you're using, it's for a reason. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to sit here and, you know, delegate your finances. I ain't trying to touch that at all.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make sure that you have the proper board so stuff won't be seeping and you're using the right terminology when it comes to baking. You know, like just let me just like, and it's not everything, but it's just, I've come across multiple situations where when money was had, but the skill wasn't there, it was always a tussle. Because it's like they kind of looked at me in a sense of just like, well, you don't have the money, I have the money, so you're going to listen to the way I want to do it. I'm just like, didn't you hire me for my skill? I understand what you're paying me. Yeah, I get that part. But like, didn't you hire me for my skill? I'm not, you know, getting on you about, you know, you shouldn't be having this much petty cash. I'm not trying to count and put
You're
tabs
not doing
on
the accountant, you're doing the skill level. Yeah, I totally get
I
that.
need you to understand the difference between a beaded border and a star border. Like, and a wax board and a cover unwaxed board. Like, that's what I'm trying to help you with here. But it's always been like, my money. And it's just like, all right, well, this your money, came back. And unfortunately, they've closed. And it's like, yeah, like there was a place in Jersey too, of one of our freshmen actually. He opened a place with someone that had the money. They didn't even last 6 months. Like, and it's one of those simple, just like, I understand you got the money, but like, we're trying to help you with the skill to make sure that, you know, I'm not trying to counter money. Yeah, to keep it rocking. But
as long as you have someone like you and you actually like listen to them, you know what I mean? That's the thing. But then for someone like you, that's a pain in the ass because you're, you know, unless they make you a partner in the business, like you are replaceable, you know, and you're putting in, when in that situation, like I found myself in that situation a lot where I didn't have the money, but I had all the recipes and none of the ingredients. Let's put it that way. So I was like,
that's how I've been feeling for some years now.
yeah. Oh my God. I was watching Joe Rogan and Donnell Rawlings was on there. He said that, and I was like, that's the story of my life. I have all the recipes and none of the ingredients.
It's a real struggle. And I think that's what I can honestly say a lot more people can look at my career line of, you know, I've been in this industry for 15 plus years at this point. And I don't have a brick and mortar. I don't have a website. I don't have, you know, I don't have the things that they would think that I would have, but my portfolio is ridiculous. You know, like
I just saw that egg cake you did. That was sick.
Thanks. And that was like, I was really hype about that one. Even, and I'm glad you brought up that one. Like, even my celebrity customer list is starting to grow. So
That's great.
yeah, like that cake was for I don't know if you remember, but DJ Diamond Cuts off of Power 99. That was her son's birthday cake. She's a very like she's a high level DJ in Philly. Okay. And I love that order simply because of, that order showed me a lot about social media and how to utilize social media and content. So initially how I got that order, I reposted an old cake that I did that I was listening to her DJ lineup while making the cake. So I reposted it, I re-tagged her in it. Like when I first did it, she reposted it in the second and third. But literally a year later, I reposted it just because I need to put up something. I don't need to just even getting all the watermarks and everything and getting all the right hashtags. That takes a little bit of time. So I was just trying to, yeah. And so I was just trying to just get something up that I've already did in the midst of me editing some more things. And when I reposted it, she hit me up. She's like, oh my gosh, are you a mind reader? Are you psychic? I'm looking for a cake for my son right now. And I got the order, And from there, it really just showed me interactions with certain things. It helps that engaging with the clients and just reposting and being certain spaces at the right time. It helps, but it's still difficult. So where people are oh, you got a lot of this and a lot of that from being in the industry for 15 years. Yes, I have a lot of experience. My portfolio goes back a solid 10 years. But the expectation of what I should have versus what I actually do have are two very different things, because this industry is different, is hard. And it's not hard in a bad way, but you got to have that hustle and that bustle and that determination to really push through the odds of everything. It's not impossible.
A lot of it too, it's not. Some of it is hard in a bad way, because I remember, you're especially prep cooks and stuff, you don't get paid enough to feed their family. I see plenty of Mexican and Guatemalan people coming up, having some sort of, situation where they're sending money back and all that other stuff. And they're working, they literally work 3 jobs of the same thing, prep cook, go in, do all the prep work, go to the next restaurant, do all the prep work, start work in the morning.
And then some.
Yeah. Maybe sleep 4 hours a night. No one should have to work that hard to make. I mean, they're making under 50,000 a year for sure. 30 if they're lucky.
Exactly.
That is also not just immigrants.
Mm-mm.
At the same time, then you have people that are born here. When I started working, I was making $10 an hour. What is that? I got a fucking college degree.
Yep.
And it wasn't that was expected. And even especially with Steven Starr, he got fucking sued. That girl was in our good for her. We went to school with her, Constance. She started that lawsuit against him because we would have to go in early. Yeah, we would have to go in early to get our work done, and we weren't allowed to clock in until the clock in time. And it was our fault that we couldn't get the work done in time, even though it was an impossible list of things you had to do.
Oh, wow. I never knew that aspect. One of my first restaurant internships was with Steven Starr at Barclay Prime. I hated that job. It took a lot out of me to actually go back to the restaurant because of that job.
I worked there too.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. And even just to even shine light on the serious stress of a pastry job, of just trying to be seen and seen that our work is, were not that replaceable. My pastry chef, she used to say this all the time, and I thought that she was crazy because she used to say it all the time. She's like, "Oh my gosh, you didn't do it right. You're gonna give me an aneurysm. Oh my gosh, you didn't do it right. You're gonna give me an aneurysm." She got an aneurysm, and it exploded at work.
Holy shit.
But at the same time, like the stress caused that. Like I didn't know any. Like I was still the intern mode, but like I didn't really understand like some of the extra push and the extra pull that she got from the being in those like chef meetings.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, she just came back to us like straight bitchy. Like one of those things of just like, I can't leave you alone in here because you can't ride on a plate and da da da. I'm just like, it's my second blasted week, lady. Like,
Yeah.
Like, but at the same time, that stress and that demand is very real and it's very tough. That it literally makes people sick, and that's why most people would leave the pastry world, because you know they're often reminded how much they're replaceable just by the sous chef, because the sous chef, you know, a basic thing that they can make is cookies.
Well,
That's it.
you know, and then I was, you know, I got promoted. I didn't get promoted because someone was friends with the head chef, the head pastry chef at one of the jobs, and the person really needed health insurance because they found out they had like a serious health problem, and the only way to get health insurance was to be full time. So the only position available for that was the sous position, which I was definitely more qualified for, but I didn't get it because I was healthy, you know?
Wow.
So I had a problem with that. And then because of that, I also had to do all the grunt work because I was the only one healthy enough to like lift things and carry things. So
The extra work that always get pushed on the pastry,
yeah,
especially when the prep is, you know.
well, even, you know, just like carrying up like the 50-pound bags of flour, 100-pound bags of flour, whatever, from the basement, like all that kind of stuff, like got pushed on me because the other people had like health issues. And I'm like, you know, this person doesn't know. I had to explain the difference between Italian and Swiss buttercream to this person, and they're my boss. So,
The shrub.
you know, not just getting paid less, but the nepotism, you know, I was just like, I need my own place. So that's also why I got fed up and I became a flight attendant.
The shift is real.
The shift is real. It was fun. I mean, I still got to see the world. So
That's awesome.
Got to go.
How long were you in that?
5 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I just like ate everywhere. I should have started the YouTube channel earlier and just
that would have been perfect.
Places I ate. Because I was like, oh my God, so many good bakeries. I went to Tartan. I went to like all the major like lists, you know, like food nerd.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. It was so good. I miss that. But you know, pandemic, so
yeah, here we are.
Here we are. One day.
You, like, and how think about how many people like a person. I'm sure there's a number out there somewhere of how many people left the industry because of a situation like along those lines of like not being recognized, being overloaded with work, and just, you know, underpaid for everything.
Yeah.
Like
I was talking to I had Frank on the podcast a little while ago.
Mm-hmm.
He named like, so out of like our bachelor class, there might be like 2 people in culinary that are still working in culinary. I mean, besides him, but he doesn't count because that's a family business. You know, he's had that business forever. So, but like Bernard Cephas is like doing medical, like, you know, like people are just, you know,
shifted
because you can't get paid. I remember in culinary school, them acting like, oh, you're not going to be in this industry because like it's too hard or whatever. It's not too hard. It's just like, it's just not right, you know?
Yeah, the odds are against us.
Yeah. You got to
You
pay.
really got to sit through them. If you don't get into, if you don't, I think, especially for our class, like pastry side, like everyone's pretty much still in it for the most part, you know? But even then, it's one of those things of they either stayed at one place and built up, and that's how they got to the position that they're in today, or somewhere, you know, like us, where, you know, we wanted something a bit more specific and got to
Well,
a
we
point
want
where it's like,
something
all
to
right, no, we're gonna start
ourselves.
again. Huh?
We want something for ourselves, you know, to call your own. That can't be taken away.
Exactly.
There's people that
Exactly.
stayed in that place because nothing got taken away from them, you know?
And it was like a regular 9 to 5, but that workload was something serious, you know? Like they got to the point where, you know, they got into those positions from interns points,
Yeah.
and stayed for the longevity ride, you know? But at the same time, you know, they just kind of dealt with all the BS that came across their way. And I couldn't deal with that extra BS. Like I just couldn't. Like and I'm still striving for something more. But you know, their perks are nice. And that's the thing that most places get people, the perks, you know, like especially when you get to these larger hotels.
Yeah, but you know, when do you get to use your perks? When you're working 14-hour days.
That part. They come in handy when you get married though. They come in handy. But even then, like that's how.
But even then,
like
everyone in your life is working at the hotel and then they can't take off from work because they're too busy catering your wedding.
That part. Like I think that's what the main thing that most hotels are being helpful with the low income, you know? So for instance, like I've always like Kimpton is an incredible hotel. Like they're dope, like, but their perks in their eyes, they'll think that their perks would be a fill-in for that price gap, because they gave pretty good perks, you know, like besides like the discounts of certain products, you know, they did employee appreciation day. They gave us a luncheon every month. You know, we have solid, you know, game prizes. They did, you know, recognition for the whole hotel, even for the entire company. They had events for each hotel. They did scheduling, you know, we had holiday parties, like my first holiday party was at with this hotel. They did it right, you know, like they brought people, like they shifted people properly so that everyone from that hotel can be at this party if they choose to, you know, and then vice versa for the other one. But that doesn't make up for those 14-hour shifts. That doesn't make up for, you know, being shorted and having to, you know, go to the grocery store for this and like being shorthanded this and dealing with, you know, having to pick up the slack of other employees and not getting recognized. Like it doesn't make up for that. Like my take home is my take home, and I'm still, you know, having to do a whole nother side thing, not just because, you know, it's what I want to do, but it's because I have to do it just to make ends meet. And it's like, well, I got like, it's like, I feel like with my degree nowadays, I'm just like, I have a bachelor's degree in pastry arts. You see?
Look at this piece of paper.
Yeah, like,
isn't that a nice piece of paper?
I paid this much because I got this, right? I paid the $80,000 for this. Like,
yeah,
please give me over $30 an hour. Like, please.
Yeah.
and it just sucks. Like, even now, I like OTRE simply because I get to make my own schedule. I can, and me making my own schedule means the world because I have a lot of responsibilities at home. So their concept and their whole thing is, you're going to take on, if you take on these orders, there's a time when the customer is going to show up for them. As long as it's done by the time the customer shows up for them, we got no problem with nothing. All right, cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Perfect.
I get paid by the hour. Cool. But at the same time, though, I can do ridiculous cakes, and I can be working on one cake for 4 hours, and I still have another 5 cake orders to do. And at this point, I've been in the bakery since 7 o'clock in the morning, and it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I mean, 1 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
You know, like I can easily spend 18 hours in the bakery. Easy.
Oh yeah. Especially with
But
all
at
the
the same
intricate
time,
details you gotta do. Like that don't
I
even
got no one breathing down my back. Like, as long as the cake order's done, that's all they really care about. I have a lot of things to my disposal to get a cake order completed. It is what it is. But at the same time, I still have to put in 18 plus hours, like a day. Like I still have to work. Like my husky week, my first husky week back since the pandemic, I worked 80 hours in 1 week. That's a normal week for pastry people.
Yeah.
Like that's a normal week for culinary period. Like
And
working 80
how much
hours.
time does that leave you to work on your own business too? Nothing. You know?
Nothing. No time for me working my big. Yeah, I enjoyed that check. That check covered, majority of my bills that month.
But that's
That
what you're
one
saying,
check.
majority. It didn't cover all of them. You know what I mean? Like working over 40 hours a week, their bills should be fine. You know?
Just me even working 40 hours period, I should be good.
Yeah.
But I'm not. Like I'm not. And guess what? I'm a very minimalist person,
Yeah.
Like I pay my part in the house. Like
And
I don't have time to really do anything else. Like
everything else goes into your business, I bet. Yeah.
Plain and simple. And then even like that's the next thing of just like when it comes to the business part of it, knowing that I only have a limited amount of time and I stopped taking sponsorships, but like people coming to pastry, I don't know why. I had this discussion in Clubhouse. Don't know why people always think they can cut corners or they can get a discount or they can get something for free because it's pastry or because it's only cake or something for their event. And it's just like, so you want me to do a tasting for 200 people for free, but banking on the fact that the people that are coming in are going to place an order with me because it's a wedding cake expo and I'm not getting paid either way. I'm just hoping and praying that at least one of these brides are going to bite on my cake order. How does that work? That don't work. Like it just doesn't work. Like initially you wanted me to put out a whole cake for free, put up a whole cake, and then also give my time as well as my product. And not even just my baked good product, but my paper product, my business cards, my menus, like you want me to put all that up.
Yeah. And
then for one bride of 200 couples to order a cake from me. And then usually they're the ones that's having the small wedding. Like
they're asking for a discount too.
It just doesn't work. And it's some people, they take advantage of these bakers, especially the smaller bakers, with these, we're going to have 200 plus brides and they're all going to be looking for wedding cake and we got this and got this and got that. And then we get there, you're kind of just twiddling your thumbs, trying to engage, trying to, you're networking. Like there's benefits, yes, but not beneficial enough for me not to get paid for me to stand there right now. Like, yeah, plain and simple. And even when it comes to like vending for larger events, like that risk is still there. Because people may think like, oh, it's dessert. People love dessert. What's a dessert person want to do in a health conscious city? Like, I got people more times than not walking past me. Oh, I need to stay away from you. I'm like, don't blame me because you're on diet. And that's how the prostitute really came about,
I love that name. I love it.
It's just like one of those things of just like, don't get mad at me. Like I always got people mad at me, but at the end of the day, everyone wants something sweet though. So
yeah, but also if you need that's the thing, like when it comes to diets, like you can have a slice of cake. Don't eat the whole cake. Don't every day, or don't eat a slice of cake every day. You know what I mean? Like,
don't get mad at me.
How many vegans do you get?
And here's the thing, it's not even just vegans anymore. It's the potheads too. It's like, oh, is those edibles?
Oh, send them my way.
Right? Like,
Send
is
them
those
my way.
edibles? Are you still doing edibles?
I have my book on Amazon, my cookbook.
Oh,
But I tried to launch that, and well, basically Facebook, because Facebook and Instagram are the same company. They blocked me from advertising, and they said it was due to illegal drugs. And at the same time, I'm seeing like, you know, like Seth Rogen's line of marijuana, like houseplant, being advertised, and I'm like, I'm not even selling actual marijuana. Like, I'm selling a book.
yeah.
Literally selling a book. And it took them 1 year and 2 months to lift a ban. So I was
Wow.
I did all that work and it was just dead in the water because I couldn't advertise it. Nobody knows it. Nobody knows it exists.
I'm about to say, I was shocked by that. I knew, like, even when we was in college, you were, you know, testing it, and because at the time, only Jersey had an avenue for it. And I remember you going through that process and testing it and all that, but I didn't know you had a book.
Exactly.
Crazy. And
Yeah.
even like with the advertising like aspect of it, I remember I did a marijuana cake. I do marijuana like not even like weed based cakes.
Oh, you this big one. There you are.
Yep, got
It
another
was
phone
like
call.
a
I thought I put it on do
marijuana
not
shaped
disturb.
cake.
Huh?
It was like a marijuana shaped cake or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a leaf cake.
One of the cakes that I put on TikTok hit like over 2,000. No, I'm sorry, 3,000 views. Right. I put another one on using the same song, and it got taken out.
Huh.
And now that I'm like actually it's like saying it out loud right now, I think it was more because the first cake was like a cartoon version of a marijuana plant. And the second one, like there was like an ashtray. There was like a Swisher Sweet packet. Like there was like blunt paper on it. Like there was like weed buds on it. But like even then, it's like, what place in the United States is not legalized at this point?
The federal level. That's the only level that counts.
That part.
Yeah, but it only counts if you don't have any money and you're a small guy. You know, because if you there's all these companies, you know, you see Mad Men, you see Rise, you see all these companies, all their advertising, and they're allowed to advertise.
Toni Braxton has a line with her sons for a marijuana-based lotions and oils.
Yeah, and even for the CBD stuff too. Like I was saying, it was CBD, and they did it anyway. You know what I mean? Because my book too, it's like in my book, I said you can use whatever you choose to use in there, and I'm not responsible for what you choose to use. You know what I mean? So I don't understand how that's like illegal, you know? But to even appeal it and get anyone to respond to you is ridiculous. So
there's more appalling things on the internet than
I know. I mean, TikTok is a bunch of like underage girls dancing. Like, do we, you know, most of it's half underage girls and half creepy old men. Like, come on.
Just because you have nails and you have eyelashes doesn't mean too much of nothing about your age. Like the ridiculousness.
A bunch of Jeffrey Epsteins.
But it's tough out here for a prostitute.
Yep.
It's real tough. I even had to resort to doing different type of sugar art. Like, oh, it's so backwards. It's on a canvas. This is a regular canvas.
Okay.
I made this for royal icing.
Oh, that's cool.
Right? Like, and zero like bites. Like the bites are there, but not really, you know? Like not like I would expect. Like this should have gotten like a good amount of views to it. You know? Like I should be able to sell this piece for $300. No. But at the same time, I know for a fact that it all comes with due time.
That's fountain?
is royal icing.
Royal icing?
Yeah.
People who don't know, that is edible.
Like I can lick this, it'll taste like sugar.
It tastes like sugar.
Sugar.
But you're gonna pay $300 for it. Maybe you'll make more money off it if you do like it.
Right? But it's like, how much more different do I have to be to get a view? You know, like there just has to just be a point where I just kind of just have to keep putting stuff out and just hope that I get a bite on it at this point, and just keep banking on that I make a good product. In due time, especially after getting a certain amount of videos up, each video that I put up will be just profit after that. Because even for you, like you got 500 subscribers on YouTube. I'm still under 100. Like, yes.
Not
like
after this, ladies.
Counts.
Everybody
Right?
go subscribe. It's free.
That part. Like, all wins count at the end of the day. All wins count.
Yeah.
Every opportunity at this point counts. Like, every pastry and even culinary person, like, their stories are real. Like, the struggle is real.
The struggle is real.
The struggle is so real. But, whatever way that people can support, whether it's listening to a podcast, subscribing, actually buying a platter, that helps. Yeah. Like, I got little girls in my complex.
Take advantage of your passion for what you do, That's kind of.
Don't ask for a discount. Like,
yeah.
Don't ask for a discount. This is still. I recently just got a cake order, and I didn't know who it was at first, and I gave him like the full price, and then I realized who it was once I got their email. I was like, and it's like a close family friend of mine, and I was just like, I'll give you free delivery. Like, I ain't cutting my prices up. Like, I'll give you free delivery.
I mean, how do, like, especially when it, like, family and friends always want a discount, but it's like, how do you, and you want to give it to them, but you can't, because you'll never make any money if you do.
Ever.
And people,
it's like, it's a difference though. There's a difference between you testing a recipe and then giving things out to get opinions versus then coming to you and being like, hey, I got a birthday coming up. I'm doing a birthday party for such and such. Can you give me a hookup?
Yeah.
No. You knowing me is the hookup. Like, not the fact that, I'm going to give you a good price, but you knowing me and having access to come to me is the hookup.
Yeah. Not because also, like, with your background and everything, like, you're not using candy melts to make a fucking cake. Like, the price is because the ingredients are so costly because you're using good ingredients. That's another thing people don't realize. That's
a whole nother door of ridiculousness. You know how popular box cakes are now? It's ridiculous. Like, ridiculous. I know 2 major cake people in the Instagram realms right now that they're Black-owned businesses. Both of them are business managers, but first, before cake. They learned the basic way of, Wilton, this, that, and the third. But they're a very high scale places now, in bakeries, flaunting across their boards, all box cakes. It's all box cakes. Like, when they're posting like their ingredients lineup of what they're getting ready for their prep, it's like 20 boxes. Like, what? Like, I don't understand. I used to get badgered so bad in high school because they knew that I was in professional baking in the tech school for using box cakes mix. And then I went on to get my bachelor's degree, and then I got family members joking like, you're not using box cakes mix, right? You're not using box cakes mix, paying for that expensive behind degree. You're not using box cakes mix, right? And now 10 years later, box cakes mix is like the golden money prize of doing cakes nowadays. I'm just like, Why? How? I don't understand.
And people
I don't
also
understand.
don't understand, like, talk about health conscious, how many chemicals they put in box cakes. Like, I won't eat that.
Girl.
And you can taste the chemicals.
I almost got a job at a manufacturing bakery, and they were hiring for recipe developments. And I got a tour of their facility and everything. Mind you, this is a place where, for the East Coast, they cover everywhere from Jersey, Delaware, and small parts of New York. This bakery cranks out majority of their Edmonds, majority of their Sara Lee, and majority of like their in-house like store products for baked goods. Right? They cover all of it. Like they have like the base, like the original recipes for the major company names, and then for like the Walmart brand and like the Sam's Club brand, like they
People
have
who
those.
don't know what that is, that's like you can like make up your own brand, and then you can hire. It's like they either call it private labeling or they call it co-packing, where you give them their recipe.
But it's all
yeah, or what they do is like you either give them their recipe, you got to pay for that, and then they'll produce it for you, or you can pick from one of their basic recipes and they'll just slap your label on there.
Yep.
Yeah.
The chemical room and the testing room wasn't even filled with ingredients. Like I did not see not one egg. Like, I did not see one egg. They had butter. Like they had a butter section, but it was all the different compounds of butter of just chemicals. Like
to give you butter flavor.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
and it's just one of those things of just like, where's the realness? Like
yeah, and people don't recognize also, like, especially when it comes to fake sugar, your body doesn't recognize that chemical, like, because it's not a chemical that your body was designed to break down. So your taste buds will taste sweetness. For instance, diet soda is a great example. So your taste buds will be like, oh, that's sweet, I like that. But then your cells, they never get like that glucose or anything. So then they're like, what happened? Where's the delivery? And then they tell your body, no, you're more hungry because you never got this delivery. And it forces you to eat even more because you're hungry, because your body was like, my tongue told me I was getting energy and I never got it.
Yep.
So then it's worse than actually eating sugar.
Exactly. And then on top of that too, even with the labeling and information with that, there's a gray area.
There's a huge gray area.
Yeah, this is a total gray area. So a company can get away with saying sugar-free if it's under 3 grams of sugar.
Yeah.
You know, a company can get away with saying, oh, it's fat-free if it's under 5 grams of fat. You know? And it's like, some people would just look at that initial front label and don't look at the back label where you have to put everything on there. Where it's just like, oh, it says sugar-free, it says fat-free. And you wonder why people are getting sick and this, that, and the third, and they're not losing weight because they got all this fat-free stuff or the sugar-free stuff.
The fat-free stuff, they might have 5 grams of fat, but to make it taste good, they add in a shit ton of sugar. Which then it might not be fat in whatever you're eating, but as soon as you eat that, it's going to convert to fat because you're not going to burn off that energy.
Exactly. And it's like one of those things of just like,
it's one of those things too, like learn how to cook. You want to be healthy, learn how to cook, you know?
That part.
Learn how to bake. Learn how to bake something delicious that, you know, it actually does go bad because it doesn't have all these chemicals in it that's going to make it last 50 years on the shelf.
That part. Yo, talking about lasting 50 years on the shelf. Doing package cookie dough is something I really do want to do. And I've been, you know, every time I go to the grocery store, I'm looking to see if there's a new one, looking at packaging, how many, like just looking at different things on like price range and all the things. Just looking at all the elements. And I found Milk, you know, the bakery by Christina Tosley in New York.
Yeah.
I found some cookies of hers at Fresh Grocer. And I was very hyped to see it, one, because like that's like one of my bucket lists of getting to, you know, going to the bakery.
I went on my journeys as a flight attendant.
Is it good?
Honestly, I don't know if it was just like an off day, but I was let down a little bit.
Okay, so my letdown, your letdown confirms my letdown then, because when I got the cookie, I was very excited, you know, put it on Instagram and all the things before I even tried it. And I ate it. I looked at the expiration date. It was like a 4-month out expiration date. And I ate it. And I'm just like, this is nasty. Like, this is nasty.
And it was like a lot. To me, it was like a lot of salt. Like a lot of like, you know, her whole thing is kind of trying to get you off of nostalgia, like taking something from your childhood and making it a little different, basically. But that's one of those things too, where like I mean, I'm gonna get the hate for saying this, but if she didn't have David Chang invest in her and help her, I don't think she'd be anywhere. You know?
Yeah. And it's like one of those things. It's like it's tough when it comes to.
And I'm not saying she's terrible pastry chef. Like I think she's a good pastry chef, but I think there's so many people that she could have. It could have been anyone at her skill level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
it makes sense.
Money
That's
made.
kind of how I feel about Cake Boss. Like,
fuck the Cake Boss. I have no problem.
That part.
Fuck the Cake Boss.
I feel bad for him now.
Great baker. His father was a great baker, but he's just a fucking show, you know. And the way that, to me, it's like the fucking Jersey Shore of pastry. And being from New Jersey, I'm insulted. And also knowing small businesses in the area, because I grew up very close to that area. Mm-hmm. How they those businesses, they would order wholesale from him before he was this famous Food Network star or whatever. And they said, you know, how kind of like when he got his recognition or whatever for being this loudmouth, whatever persona of, you know, New Jersey, obviously the Sopranos, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. They said the quality went down. He cared less about his customers because now he was famous, you know?
And they grew so ridiculous. Like, I understand, like, I've seen the different levels of it too, you know, like of being a high-end place and staying at that lower end. I'd rather stay at the lower end and keep everything small batch before I go buy 560 quart mixers to do the same batter. You know,
but there's no reason that the quality has to be less than, but you have to put. They weren't trying to make the quality. Like there was one instance when they were ordering a cake for a baby shower that was supposed to be light pink, and it came in like fuchsia with zebra print. Like it looked like the bachelorette party, not the baby shower. You know.
Even then, it's like that's a prime example of like when you expand to a certain point and you don't have all your T's crossed and your I's dotted. It's not gonna click with somebody. There's always going to be that missing link that puts out that bad reputation for folks, you know. So you know, for the place I'm at now, on average, I'm one of 18 cake decorators in this place. That's like one of 18. I am one of 8 fondant cake decorators in this place. Complaints come in often, like nothing.
Oh yeah.
But that's because, you know, there was a link missed in the store. And then that link got missed somewhere else. And then, you got people that's been there for, 30 plus years that's, uberly laxed, and they kind of just don't care. And it's just across the board, it just comes off as a shit show, and then that's how I kind of feel like
expectations of the client, that now they're looking at all these videos online and stuff, but they don't understand how much, like, they want to pay. You get what you pay for, like they want to pay basically nothing for a cake that takes a week to do, but they saw a 30-second video and it was like, ta-da, it's done. So it must take only 30 seconds to do,
And even then, I had to get to the point too, especially when I first started at O'Teary's, it was like one of those things, like, those cakes that y'all seeing, his minimal is $1,000 per cake. Like, and y'all complaining about $150 cake right now.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
What's happening? Like, but I never been a fan of Cake Boss, simply because, his fame just came off his fame. Like, he's a traditional Italian baker, and, besides off the basic cannoli,
well, I mean, it's more that his father was a traditional Italian baker. His father was a great baker, and like his father's legacy, like his father, Carlo's Bakery, it's not called Buddy's Bakery because he didn't fucking start it. And he's lucky that his father had a great reputation throughout that area.
By nut corners. The industry calls him to cut corners.
Yeah, he's cut so many corners and just screwed over so many people that it's a bunch of bullshit. And talk about making people, work for a very low wage, like that's one of those places in like a, factory warehouse production style. And there, like you see, for example, Frank is inherited Pat Steaks, but he treats his people well.
Yeah.
He's like, and he doesn't sacrifice quality. Like, they're two totally different foods, but he understood like what he was taking on and the legacy he had to take care of, and not just make a buck off of it. Whereas the Cake Boss took his father's legacy and made it into a joke, really. Like a character.
I remember
Italian Americans.
When I was getting ready for this interview, I was like, "Oh yeah, she just did an interview with Frank not too long ago." And the first thing that I said that, I was like, "Remember when we went to Chicago for the restaurant convention, and he was with the guys, and they were drunk at this point, but they went to a very popular pizzeria that had a lot of memorabilia, a lot of celebrity posters up on the wall. And I don't remember who told the story when they got on the bus going back to the hotel that night. But Frank was in there just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. People come from all over the world and the country just to admire this one place. And we're like, Frank, you own the same thing in Philly. But at the same time, that comes from his humble heart, though. Like, that has, like, that moment, like, it's like, dude, you literally own, like, one of the most iconic, like, places in Philly.
Yeah.
Like, you have the same thing at home.
I forgot about that. Oh my God.
But at the same time, like, his humble heart created a moment like that.
Yeah.
For Buddy, on the other hand, fame got to his head, and now he's down for the count. Buddy is down. Like, have you seen any of his shows lately?
No.
Like, did you watch Buddy versus Duff?
No, but I feel like Duff would win for sure.
Duff, he did. He won both seasons.
Yeah.
It showed a couple different things. Buddy is a sore loser. They edited it out eventually, but that first episode, Buddy was a sore loser.
Oh, for sure.
Look it up. It was bad. Like, he literally he didn't even stay for the closing out of the actual revealing of winner. Like, he threw a fit, walked away, and wanted to talk to the executive producer. and then came back and finished out the segment. Like, it was ridiculous. But now he's down for the count. He got injured in a bowling accident in his house. So his right hand is completely done.
Sure he did. It's
all on TLC.
I saw that part and I was like, oh, he knows he's shit. So how do you get out of that? You hurt your hand so you can't bake anymore.
I mean, besides the fact that the DUIs that he got underneath his belt too, you know, it's like one of those things, like, it got to your head, bruh. Like, it sure got to your head. And it's unfortunate because so many people are always like, oh my gosh, like, you're a cake decorator? Do you watch cake? No, I don't watch Cake Boss. Don't even go down that lane with me, sir. I don't want. I'm like Duff. I'm Team Duff. Duff is an artist. He turns sugar into art.
Yeah.
Like, point period. Like, no. And it's like people always want to compare. It's like, I understand what he has. I understand that. But there's a lot more things that I do that he can't. So no thank you.
Yeah.
Or he won't even touch.
So many amazing Italian bakeries in New Jersey that deserve more credit. Like Giancarelli's Bakery, if anybody's in New Jersey, go check them out. You know, like, you want like real Italian pastries, like, it's just good. You know?
Yeah, there's a place, like, even in Philly too. Like, we got
Philly, yeah, you got all of South Philly. You know?
Yeah, literally all of South Philly. That is true. You got the Termini brothers. Like, I literally just went to the Termini brothers like first location for the first time not too long ago, and I'm like, what? Why isn't this a thing? Like, Cake Boss, like. And at the same time, it's like, nope, I respect it, because at the same time, your tradition stretches way further than this extra publicity and this extra views and like, y'all got history right here. Like, it's
but at
fine.
the same time, now those places need them because they're closed because of the pandemic. You know, that's where, like, you gotta adapt to survive, and this is gonna be the platform to do it. You know.
Yep.
So.
And more than just telling you, you know, the family's history at this point. Like,
yeah, but I mean, that helps, you know, the story.
It helps, but it's like the same thing. They want to see what you got going now, you know?
Yeah.
Like, how did you evolve at this point? And it's like, I can honestly say, just from growing up in the era of seeing, you know, mogul bakeries come up in the limelight, it's like, yeah, I want that limelight style, but like, I can stay right here because I don't want my quality to go down ever. You know, like, I can see myself expanding to one 60-quart mixer, but one would be for dough, the other one would be for buttercream, and that would be it.
I also feel like you could expand. It would be tough because you'd have to lower your margin would be like lower unless you charge more, but you might be able to like have a business concept where everyone working for you gets paid a fair wage, you know? Like, hey,
and that's where
like fair trade, but for America. You know?
That part. And that's where a lot of people don't realize that that's where, you know, when all these big names start coming out, that's like the margin cut. That's where their quality gets murdered at.
Yeah, like quality and then labor cost, just paying everybody shit because they know they can.
Exactly.
You know?
And even for a home baker, do you know how much vanilla costs right now?
So much. And also for a home baker too, it's hard to get started because if you don't get those wholesale prices, like, you have to charge way more because you know, you can't store a pallet of flour in your apartment or your townhouse.
I mean, I found ways to do it here. Like, I don't know, you can't see it, but I just bought a sheet rack and I bought some containers from the Restaurant Depot. Like, I think they're like the 40-quart containers, but even then, that's only 25 pounds. You know?
That sounds like a lot if you don't bake, but 25 pounds is nothing. Yeah. Most flour sacks are at least 50. I got
Exactly.
a couple what is this? 22 quart containers with flour, but I have half the bag wrapped up in plastic wrap because it won't fit in the container.
Exactly.
So I can
Luckily, there's like some stores like PJP. Like I go to Restaurant Depot too.
But those prices are they're more expensive than wholesale in a bakery, but you need to have and a lot of those wholesale places won't even like have an account for you unless you meet a minimum order, but also you have to have like an EIN, like an actual established business, like social security number, basically, to do any business with them.
Even then, though, like I'll go to Restaurant Depot to get my eggs, and I will still go to Aldi's to get my chocolate chips because I'm not paying $80 for a case of five pounds of chocolate chips.
Yeah,
like I'm just not. Like I can still get the Bisco at Aldi's. Like,
I mean, I found some good prices on Amazon for quality chocolate. Like you can still get a 10-pound block of chocolate for like $100 or less. For like
and even then, like
for like
to the
Calibu, you know,
it's easy for us to understand that, but to like explain that to a customer / like, well, why does this one cookie cost $3? I'm like, because it's made from scratch. Okay, like it's made from premium ingredients, like good ingredients here, like
real butter, no short,
like no lard, like no extra substitute, like real butter, real ingredients here. And I struggle with that with, even in my area. Like I live in West Philly, like I'm on the borderline of University City and poverty, I live in a diamond in a rough. Like I live in a gated, like, where we went to school at. Like there was literally a point, especially when new students would come, like, and people would be like, well, what direction shouldn't my child go in? Like how many blocks this way is it safe? I know it's safe this way, but how many blocks that way? And, just with that dynamic of, where I'm actually at, like I'm living in a gated community in West Philadelphia.
How new is that?
Yeah, girl. It's probably about 4, maybe 5 years old.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like it's yeah, and it's not that big. Like it's only like 3 buildings, but it's a gated community in West Philly.
That's crazy.
Like I like the front part of me, there's Section 8, and the back part is regular housing that's waiting to get knocked down. Like gentrification.
I know, like when I moved to 45th and Chester, it wasn't owned by UPenn yet, and like now I'm sure that's all just part of University City, but when I was there, it wasn't, and it was like I lived there like 4 years. So from the time I moved in to the time I moved out, it was a completely different place. Like,
when was the last time you've been to Philly?
A couple years ago.
Yeah, everything of Philly, like especially like downtown, like you wouldn't recognize it. Like you might recognize a few stores. Like the gallery is not the gallery anymore. I still call it the gallery. But the gallery got shut down for like a year and a half. It looks like King of Prussia at this point.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's very nice, but it's called the Philadelphia Fashion District. It's the gallery still. I'm trying to think of like some key places that I will remember. That space right next to Fresh Grocer. So let's start at that corner, 40th and Walnut. So there was a Fresh Grocer, there's McDonald's, Hummus, the movie theater, and the library right there in that general corner. And then it was like all open space. Bobby's was still there. Bobby Flay Burger Place was still there. Yeah, that place is gone. There is a whole new strip. Oh, and also like down that alley towards the subway, there was like Pizza Hut and like maybe a Chinese store, an Indian store, and that was really about it.
Yeah.
Now down that strip towards the towards the subway, there's Dunkin' Donuts, there's 2 pizzerias, there's a yogurt place, there is a ramen noodle place, there's 2 sushi places. The space by the library is now a apartment complex, like another campus complex. So there's not like they dug into that park area, so there's like a whole nother complex there now. The movie theater is still there, but there's a Panera Breads there now instead of Marathon Grill.
Oh my God,
Fresh
Marathon.
Grocer is not there anymore. It's now Acme with a Starbucks in it. Yes. Now going towards, huh?
I thought Acme went out of business.
Nope.
Huh?
Nope. Lee's, you remember Lee's Hoagie?
Yeah.
That's gone. That's a chicken coop place now.
Chicken coop?
They were building the hotel while we were still there. So that like one block.
Coop?
Yeah, it's a chicken coop place.
Like where you could buy a house for your chickens? Chicken coop?
No, it's called chicken coop. So it's like it's like a gourmet like chicken place. It's like Boston Market, but like more like it's an establishment like similar to Boston Market.
Okay.
And then they were building the hotel while we were still there, as well as that extra apartment building while we were still there. What's the next direction? Oh, remember the sex store that was there on going up towards Chestnut? That's now a wine and spirits now, which is like, why didn't they have this when we was in school? We had to go so far just to get to a liquor store back then.
No, we had to go to that Chinese pizzeria.
Exactly. They're still there. Evans is still there. And Pesasquales, they're still there. They're still there. There's been a lot of good times on those. What else has changed? There was another area. Oh, remember the hookah spot? There was like an Indian cuisine. It was like a trailer, like a cart food place. It was on Chestnut. And there was a hookah spot. And then there was like a home and like a car dealership.
Yeah.
Like right at that weird cross to get to 42nd.
Yeah.
That's all gone. And now that's a Penn building now. Like the hookah is still there. But the home and then the car dealership, the car wash spot, that's gone. It's a whole like Penn campus area now.
It's always sad when I see somebody's house.
Yeah, like it like gentrification has definitely hit
Yeah.
this
and those
area.
Buildings over there were beautiful, especially over by where I was with like the big porches and the, you know.
Now they really haven't hit that area just because it's a historic area.
Oh, okay.
That's the main reason that area hasn't been hit. They're really hitting, just like the Straut buildings at this point. But yeah, downtown, like Market, Broad Street, like that whole strip from like City Hall to like, I'm gonna say 5th Street, it looks like a mini New York now. Like the jumbo plaza screens and like the big and like Philly Cupcake, that building is now Shake Shack, and there's a Target on that block now. Like, yeah.
Oh my God. That's
like the changes are real. Like it happens so quickly though, but at the same time, a lot of smaller places have come up in a big way. Like I know there's maybe when the food truck scene really started to hit, like the midnight nights, a lot of those first timer owners of those food trucks, now they have brick and mortars in Rittenhouse area.
wow.
Exactly. Like I remember the main one I'm thinking of is the mac and cheese truck.
Wow.
She got 2 brick and mortars now.
Well, for people that aren't familiar with Philly, the Rittenhouse Square area is kind of like, it's almost like the Central Park of Philadelphia.
Pretty much. Very high class. Yeah, it's like the go-to spot for
the 1%ers.
Yeah, like if you're coming to Philly to have like a bad and bougie night with your girlfriends, like you're most likely ending up in rent house.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like if you're expecting to, drop like $11,000 on a dinner, like you're gonna be in rent house.
Gonna be at Barclay Prime.
That part.
Oh.
That part right there. And even the Four Seasons in that area too.
Yeah.
That hotel.
Oh my God. When I was a kid, my mom had to go to Philly like once a year to do like a nursing conference.
Mm-hmm.
And one year she took me to tea at the Four Seasons Hotel.
Nice.
And because she just loved going to tea. So it was like an excuse, like, oh, mother-daughter thing. But really, like, she wanted to go to tea. And they had like a harp player and everything. I remember it was the first time I ever saw like a harp, like in real life.
Harp.
I was like, what is this? Like I kept bothering the lady who played the harp. So.
That's great. Four Seasons is definitely one of those companies that they take the pride of being different. They don't care about their prices. They treat their employees good. They don't care that it costs $400 a night for their room. You're getting a complete experience going to there. And I think for smaller places, that's the missing factor that most of these smaller places are missing, because they're kind of looking at their things of like, oh, I can make a really good cake. I'm gonna put this nice sticker on it, and I can make a really good thing here. But they're missing the experience aspect of it. Like the Four Seasons in Philadelphia, it starts on the 65th floor.
Yeah, but it's also like the exclusivity of it is what makes people want it.
Exactly.
And that's why they can have their prices so high, because it's a luxury brand. It's just like the Ritz-Carlton, it's a luxury brand. So it's not for us mere common folk.
This is true, but it makes me look at creating that experience for my customer in a whole nother light. I got an opportunity to stay there, and I'm like, an infinity pool on the 98th floor? What? Like, what? Like, and just even like the fullness of ensuring that the experience is customary was real. I'm just like, but the price of luxury is the price of luxury. So
it's high, especially when
I'm glad that wasn't on my bill. I'm gonna say that. And then we went to Barclay Prime after that. I'm like, what? Ridiculous.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that's the goals. We may spend it differently, but being that comfortability of wealthy is definitely a goal. And I even going back to Frank, I remember we went. I don't remember if it was London or either London or Paris. He was coming back from going overseas, and he bought his wife at the time a Louis Vuitton in the airport. I'm just like, it's like, I didn't want to go through customs. I just wanted to wait after we got into the airport. I'm just like, but at the same time, his humble heart, like, I'd rather have his humble heart and his pockets, like, I'd rather, like, I take more pride in the humble heart than not, because, it's not like a boasty thing ever with him,
Yeah.
Like, I remember just being in class and legitly, him coming up, especially when we did our senior closeout, of coming up to me and be like, if this is how the plating's supposed to be done, right? Like, like it's like one of those things of like, at the end of the day, money is money. People and who they are, it means way more than money at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's such a thing.
Such a thing. I think we've been talking for oh my God, it's 3:19.
Oh good. Hopefully. I mean, we went to college together. We haven't talked in a while.
It's only been a couple years. But Yeah, I gotta stop the recording because it's not gonna load up to YouTube if it's like over 3 hours, which it might be. But hold on, okay. So thanks everybody for listening. And we'll have Nishan again, and we'll put all the links in the description below. And don't forget to subscribe to both of the channels. If you've made it this long, what are you waiting for?
That